Hi church. Just want to give you a ministry update. It's an understatement to say that 2020 has been an unexpected journey with many twists and turns. And I think when COVID first happened, most of us were thinking, well, when we get on the other side of COVID, we'll be able to do this and this and this. But we've come to realise that we need to learn to live with this virus, at least for a number of months, well into next year. One of the things that I've learnt in this season is not to try and project too far forward, but just to say for the next 3 to 4 months, if things remain roughly the way that they are, this is how we will operate as a church. So there are 4 things for us to actually be focused on, particularly in fourth term. Firstly is the need to be creative and flexible. The Apostle Paul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, he says, "I've become all things to all people so that by all possible means I might win some, and I do this for the sake of the gospel." And we see in the Apostle Paul's life that he's incredibly flexible and creative when it comes to ministry. Sometimes he's prevented from going to a particular place. Sometimes he's driven out through persecution. Other times he's shipwrecked. He's thrown into jail. But he uses every and any possible means to actually promote the gospel and commit to the discipleship. And I think we need to do that. I sense for us as a church that many of us are actually becoming understandably a little bit tired and a little bit fatigued and a little bit frustrated. You've all done so well during this season, but I do sense as a church that we're starting to sort of unravel a little bit and disconnect from one another. So we just need to actually get creative in the ministries that we want to do. To give you some examples of that, so for this year, we can't do the gingerbread house and the wreath making up here at church in one big group, but we can take those packages home and invite, a friend, 2 or 3 people around and do it together and celebrate Christmas that way. Normally something like John Dixon would be a huge, great big event up here at church. But this year, we're just going to have to do it online. So the idea is that you, again, invite a friend around for a meal. Listen to what John has to say and then chat about it afterwards. And that might even be a more fruitful way of doing that John Dixon night. For things like the Christmas carols, we can't do that live, but James and Reed are thinking about doing an interactive online version that'll be of high quality that, again, we can celebrate in our own streets amongst our own neighbours. And so this season, we're just going to have to continue to be flexible and creative. Secondly, I've said all along that the most important thing for our sustainability is the sense that we continue to gather together in community. And so next term, for the next 3 or 4 months, we're going to focus on 3 areas of gathering. The first one is life groups. When COVID first happened, we noticed that people flocked to life groups and the attendance was sky high. New people were joining our life groups, but as this season has actually lingered on and on and on, we noticed that some people are starting to disconnect from their life group. So can I say that I need you, you need me, we need one another, and could I encourage you to connect out of your love for Jesus and the body of Christ to continue to connect in your life group. The second one is that we're going to continue our online service, and I reckon the best way to engage in that is by inviting another family or another couple or some individuals around to your church, around to your house, and to watch that together. Janelle and I have been doing this every single Sunday. Every Sunday we'll invite people around, do church, and then have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and it's so incredibly encouraging. I think I would struggle to actually engage with our online service by myself, but when we do it in community, it's just so much more meaningful. So could I encourage you, the main way we're going to be gathering around church is still in our homes. But in fourth term, on October the 18th, we're going to start 2 live services. We've noticed that there are probably 2 groups in our church that we've got the most concern for. We realise that young adults, they love community and they love larger community and the energy that actually comes from that. but we're starting to feel like they're starting to unravel a little bit. Many families have actually fed back to us that they think that the material that we put out is excellent, but they find it hard to get their kids to engage with our online product. So we're going to start 2 services. Hear me clearly. All people are welcome to this service, and I do trust that there'll be a wide range of people attending these services. But we're going to start 2 live services at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and at 6 p.m. to particularly target families and young adults. If that is successful, then after 4 to 6 weeks, we will consider starting a 9:30 service. The third thing we need to do is actually just embrace the awkwardness and the limitations of this season. The idea of social distancing, adults wearing face masks, not being able to sing, only one singer leading us up front, limitations on mingling. That's all weird and strange, and hopefully some of those restrictions will soon begin to ease. Maybe, we don't know. But we're just got to embrace those restrictions and still commit to God and commit to one another. And so even after our live church services, we're going to be organising a number of breakouts where people can actually go into people's homes or up at Pennant Hills Bolo or even Macca's to continue community together. And the final thing, friends, we just need to be respectful of one another's decision. So within our church, there are people who are still quite apprehensive and nervous about this virus, while there's other people who are quite comfortable meeting physically face-to-face with others. So in our life group, many of us actually meet together physically, but some people actually are just zoomed in, and both responses are perfectly appropriate. And so when it comes to decision making about meeting together and what form, whether we continue just online or whether we start coming to live services or meeting in one another's homes, we just need to be respectful of one another's decisions. All ministry at TCBC is going to be conducted under our COVID safe guidelines, and we're going to do everything possible to make sure that our ministry, our places of worship are safe places for people to attend. But we just need to continue to be gracious and kind and respectful towards one another. So friends, I know it's a strange and it's a funny season. I have my highs and I have my lows, and at times it's been, a struggle for myself. But can I thank you for your great partnership in the gospel, for your continued commitment to Jesus and to one another and the body of Christ, and to see our church continue to be that city on the hill, to be salt and light. It is our prayer not just to waste this season, but to see God do a new thing and to see more people in more places making more responses to Jesus. There's got to be a letter sent out with this video which gives you further detail, and I just encourage you to read that letter. God bless, and thanks for listening. Cheers.